Hello everyone. So in this session, we'll see December first week current affairs. Okay. So to begin with, we have an important issue with respect to NGOs. Okay. This topic is part of your governance, and NGOs are also related with internal security challenges. Okay. Now, what are these NGOs? You see, under Article 19, we have right to form associations. And when you have associations which are not directly formed by the government, then it will be called as non-governmental organization. Some people call these organizations as civil society as well. Okay, a group of people coming together. But these NGOs will be more formal. That means registration, everything would have been there. Now, what happens in countries like what do you call North Korea, China, and all? Democracy is there in those countries as well because people do elect. People come, people do elect. But the point is, you will have only one party. So, if at all people electing in elections is important, then North Korea is also considered as a democratic country. So, in political science, there was a debate whether elections or democracy means people's participation only in elections should be considered or not. And some people also laughed at democracy and told, in democracy, people will participate once in 5 years and you celebrate it as people's wish and all. Because once people elect, for 5 years, they are helpless. What can you do? It is at this point of time, Western societies thought about, NGO, where they told, yes, people participate in democracy through elections, but throughout 5 years, people will participate in governance through an alternative forum. That alternative forum is non-governmental organization. In this alternative forum, the people's main intention is to ensure that we are giving the rights that are required for the people. So for example, NGOs may be specialized. There can be environment related NGOs. There can be NGOs associated with democracy. For example, you have Amnesty International. Okay, Amnesty International. And this organization is mostly aimed at human rights. Okay, you have green, lot of NGOs working on environment like Greenpeace. Now, when you have these organizations, it is good. So, in a democracy, NGO is also a part because now, if at all, let me say, budget is going to come, NGOs will come and tell what is their requirement, how much money should be spent on education. They give, okay, health, how much should be spent. And if any program is launched by the government, NGOs will look into the programs and they will tell whether the program has been successful, any modification needs to be done, all those will be taken care of. Now, given this particular aspect with respect to NGOs, what exactly are we looking at now? Okay, you see guys, these NGOs had a very important issue. That is, with respect to foreign contributions. How does this NGOs work? They work on the basis of money that they get from others. And these others can be outside India people as well, foreign contributions. And these foreign contributors, they will have intention to manipulate Indian democracy. That means if there is any issue, they will try to manipulate and show. For example, Russia, okay, Russia has invested in India in a nuclear power plant called as Kudankulam. Okay, Russia had invested in Kudankulam nuclear power plant. Now what happened? This is in Tamil Nadu. People of Tamil Nadu came together, many people, they were standing in ocean water. As a protest, they were standing in ocean water. Now what happened? You might have seen when you stand in water, your legs and all will become white. Same way, these people were also standing in that water and they showed their legs, showing that we are standing like this and protesting against Russian nuclear power plant. Now, when this came, there was a lot of pressure on Indian government to stop that program. Now, when India and Russia sat together and discussed, Russia asked a very simple question to India. US is investing in nuclear power plants in India. Like, France is investing in nuclear power plants in India. Nowhere protests are there. Whereas when Russia is investing, why do you have protests? Manmohan Singh was the prime minister at that time. So what they did, there may be something involved behind this. So they made IB and RAW, okay, security agencies to collect information about this and give a report. Now in the report, it came to know that lot of funds are coming from Germany. It is coming from US. And these people are funding Indian NGOs, and their main aim is to ensure that Indian economy will not go properly, will not grow properly. Why? Because whenever any project will come, they will start protesting and divert the money that flows into the country. Now, is this real? Is this not real? At that time in the newspapers, there were a lot of articles. Now the point is, Manmohan Singh at that point of time based on the report, and the report said, if we don't control these NGOs, 1% GDP of the country will be affected. So there were rules and regulations before itself, and they made FCRA, okay, Foreign Contributions Regulation Act. Under FCRA, they ensured that any NGO, if it is getting any money from foreign accounts, that they have to tell it to the government, and they have to tell where are they spending the money, how are they spending the money. Accounting must be given of that particular money that is coming. Now, Home Ministry has recently told that not just the NGO, even the chartered accountant, okay, the chartered accountant, auditor, any NGO, if an auditor is auditing, then he has to certify, give it in writing that this NGO has not used foreign funds, or if they have used foreign funds, how much foreign funds has come. And that the chartered accountant has to write. Remember guys, chartered accountants won't take risk if at all an NGO is involved in the fraud. Else, these chartered accountants will only help them to manipulate. So government is now putting onus on the chartered accountants to prove or to tell them where are the funds coming from and how are the funds used. So that is the reason this is a very, very important issue. Okay. So Please have a look at this issue once. Okay. Now, guys, with respect to persons facing disability, lot of people who have disability, they do not have right to access. Okay, let me say there is a blind person. How does he walk in a shopping complex? Okay, so right to access is taken away because there are no facilities in that particular place. So if there is no facilities at all, if you are not allowing them to enter, then you are taking away their right to, equality. They are not treated equally. They do not have the right to move from one place to another place. And the right to life is also being threatened. Under these three articles, now Supreme Court has given a verdict recently that every area, whenever it is designed, they should keep in mind about the disability factors, and measures must be taken that all buildings must be disabled friendly. Okay, so that should not be the burden of the private, that should be burden of the government also. And there must make some formal arrangements to ensure that every place is accessible for disabled people as well. If you go to metro stations and all, you might have seen some yellow path will be there, where that path is used by people who cannot see to walk in a particular form. For example, there is nothing that we can see when it comes to people who cannot hear, people who cannot talk. There are no measures much. So, Supreme Court has told that Article 14, Article 19, and Article 21, if you are applying, based on that, we can see that people with disability, if they are not given right to accessibility, then you are not allowing them to live their life completely. So it is like taking away their fundamental rights. So it's very important for us to look into this particular issue. Now, another issue is about socialism. When you talk about our preamble, the word socialism, secularism, and the word integrity, okay, three words were added to our preamble during 42nd Amendment Act. Okay, Indira Gandhi, during 42nd Amendment Act, added the words socialism, secularism, and integrity into our constitution, the two preamble. Now, many people are questioning the intention of these words, and as they were not there in that particular time period, that is when constitution was written, these three words were not there. Only now the three words are added. If the three words are added only today, then on what basis should we consider that they are correct? Always debate will be there. Now, legally speaking, Subramaniam and others, they went to Supreme Court and asked, these words were added into our constitution only in 42nd Amendment Act, and that too, it is added to the preamble. So, can we add anything to the preamble? Now, the question is whether there can be amendment to preamble or not. Okay, whether there can be amendment to preamble or not. So Supreme Court has clearly said that, preamble is part of the Constitution. Preamble is part of the Constitution, and under Article 368, Constitution, that is Parliament has the right to amend the Constitution. That is, if they have added the term socialism, secularism and integrity through amendment, then it is valid. They asked, can you refer it to a larger bench? They told, no, preamble is part of the Constitution and you can amend it. People were questioning the intention of Indira Gandhi and they wanted to show it is wrong because Parliament cannot amend preamble. But later, Supreme Court has clarified multiple times, and in recent judgment also it has clarified that preamble is part of the Constitution. This can be prelims question, guys. Is preamble part of the Constitution? I don't know what book and what you refer to, but with respect to, okay, with respect to, what do you call it as prelims, you should say that yes, it is part of the Constitution. Okay, guys. Now, after this, we need to talk about one nation, one subscription. One nation, one subscription. Okay. See, guys, I just want you people to know a very simple thing that we all need to understand. Okay, one nation, one subscription. It's a very, very simple thing. Now, this is not with respect to your Netflix and others. This is with respect to higher education. Higher education. Okay. Here, I just want you people to understand a very simple fact, that is, journals are one of the most costliest thing when it comes to studies. Okay. In higher education, I have done my masters. While writing my assignments and all, it was very difficult for me to get access to few journals because they were costly and they were present at different areas. Even if I give money, it is too costly for me to get them. So, to help students in higher education to get access to research materials, okay, to get access to research journals, they have planned what we call as one nation, one subscription. So, whatever journals are there in entire India, all those journals will be put under one. And if you subscribe for it, you will be getting access to anything that is there. So that will help student community to get information about the material that is available in the market. So this is where we talk about one nation, one subscription. This will improve, what we call as our research abilities. See, guys, BRICS countries were talking about de-dollarization. That is, we should remove dollar as a source of exchange. And de-dollarization, when they were talking, Trump administration told, if anyone talks about it, we will put 100% sanctions on it. Later, many countries became quiet. I just want you people to have a little bit clarity in this particular issue. What is the clarity that I'm looking for? When I say de-dollarization, see guys, between two countries, the currency exchange is dollar. Okay. Now, let us say there are 5 countries. Okay. All these 5 countries, if they use dollar as an exchange medium, okay, and they do not use any other currency. The moment US says no one should do trade with C, no one should do trade with C. The way US has told now, no one should do trade with Russia. So what is going to happen? Even if A, B, D, and E wants to do trade with Russia, we do not have currency to exchange because US is telling dollar should not be used. Now, because of this, Russia is left over. Not only Russia, Iran, Turkey, they're all suffering because of sanctions imposed by US. So, if you have to avoid sanctions of US, then you should also remove dollar. That is the core idea. And many countries, they were willing to do this, but because of the fear of US, they all have become quiet. Okay. So questions will not be asked until and unless, like, there is a significant improvement with that case. That is, if they clearly tell us that yes, okay, that dollars will be removed, and if they make a policy, then questions will come with respect to that. Maximum question will be, what are the merits and demerits of de-dollarization? Nothing much. See guys, I just want you to understand a concept called as bankrupt. Okay, how does banks become bankrupt? Let us say a bank has invested, okay, investment by bank is 100 crore. Okay. Investment by public. Investment by public is approximately 1000 crore. Okay. Now, let us say some people did not pay. Okay. Bank did not recover money, and they know it will never recover. If bank doesn't recover 101 crore, that is, if bank has a loss of 101 crore, you see, 101 crore loss is greater than 100 crore invested by the bank. Okay, bank has invested 100 crore and they have got a loss of 101 crore. That means all their investment is gone. The moment a bank will lose all its investment, then it is called as bankrupt. You don't call a bank bankrupt if it loses 1000 crores. Remember, these 1000 crores, even if it has given to public, it has to recollect it and give it to the public itself. Correct? I have given loan, but I have to recollect it and give it back to the public itself. So, what is important? Investment by bank, if it is 100 crores, okay, and if the loss is just 1 crore more than that, 1 lakh more than that, then it is said that bank has become bankrupt. Now, in the year 2008, there was, like, subprime mortgage crisis. We use the term subprime mortgage crisis. So in your economy classes, you might have read this. That is, like, real estate sector fell down significantly. When real estate fell down significantly in the year 2008, okay, what happened in this particular year? Banks became bankrupt. Entire economy started collapsing. Then there were Basel norms for the banks. Okay. So there were Basel norms for the banks. according to these Basel norms, it was said that if investment by bank is just 100 crore, then loss will be more. Let us say I will make the investment of the bank to be 500 crore. So all banks should increase their investment. So if the banks increase their investment, then what is going to happen? They do not become bankrupt easily. They do not become bankrupt easily. So do you understand? Now my initial investment I should always increase. Now what happened? In India, Indians also decided to have some bucket list. Okay, we used to call bucket 5, bucket 4, bucket 3, bucket 2, bucket 1. Banks were put under different buckets. That means size of the bucket. Bucket 5 means it's a huge bank. Bucket 1 means it's a small bank. Like this, they divided. And then they told there are fine. Then they told domestic systemically important banks. Domestic, systemically important banks. The meaning of this, guys, some banks are so important that those banks cannot become bankrupt. Okay, what is the meaning of that? The meaning of this is a bank should never go bankrupt. Like SBI, lot of people in India have kept their money in SBI. There are banks like HDFC and ICICI. These banks are so huge that they can never go bankrupt. If they go bankrupt, entire economy will collapse. So all these banks should increase their investment. They all were given that a target will be given, increase their investment. If they increase their investment, then the chances of these banks becoming bankrupt also reduces. That's why they told them as domestic systemically important banks. Which are the three banks which are domestic systemically important? SBI, HDFC, and ICICI. These are very, very important banks. Okay. Next, guys. Guys, when I say Central America, okay, North America, South America, in between you have Central America also. They have an organization called as CARICOM. It's Caribbean Commerce. Okay. So all the Caribbean countries, they have come together and they have established it. Remember, during British era, some Indians were taken to work in sugarcane field in this particular part. So Indian diaspora is present in Caribbean islands. If you see West Indies cricket team, some members' names look like Indian names, and they were the people who had gone to this particular part. Now, Prime Minister Modi visited this particular one, and for the first time in 50 years, we have visited, and they have spoken about 5 T's. Okay, trade, tourism, talent, technology, technology, and tradition. Actually, on the sidelines of United Nations, 2 to 3 times, these people had met Indian government and they had asked that we Indians are present in Caribbean islands. If you give us some concessions and all, we will be willing to invest in India and also travel to India. That is the reason why we went for this particular summit, guys. See, India has to ensure that we are going into these type of areas as well. Because our trade should keep on increasing. If our trade doesn't increase, it is of no use. Okay, now guys, you see, convention on biological diversity. Convention on Biological Diversity, CBD. See guys, in the year 1992, United Nations had a conference at a place called Rio de Janeiro, and they decided to establish Convention on Biological Diversity to protect genetic diversity, species diversity, and ecosystem diversity. Okay, these are the 3 biodiversities that we need to protect. Now, what happened? They went for Aichi biodiversity targets. Aichi biodiversity targets. That means all countries were given targets about how much we should protect. Now, these targets were from 2011 to 2020. Okay, this is from 2011 to 2020. Unfortunately, the targets were not met. Now, what happened in the year 2021 due to COVID, 2020 due to COVID, later, 2021 to 2023, they all met. And later they came to a conclusion through an agreement called Kunming Montreal Protocol. Okay, Kunming Montreal Protocol. Now you see the targets that were given in Aichi from 2011 to 2020 now is replaced by Kunming Montreal Protocol. Now it is popularly called as Global Biodiversity Framework. Okay, it is popularly called as Global Biodiversity Framework. We call it as GBF. So what is it? Kunming Montreal Protocol. Okay, Kunming Montreal Protocol, GBF. Under this, the main intention is to protect 30% of land and 30% of water by 2030. Okay, 30% of land and 30% of water, oceans, we should protect by 2030. This is what the targets that are being given under Global Biodiversity Framework. Now, any country which have signed it is called as party to CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity. If India signs, India will be called as party. Now, whenever the parties meet, it will be called as conference of parties. Okay, it will be called as conference of parties, and this is our COP summit. So whenever these parties meet, every time one number will be given, and 16th time they have met. For the 16th time, they have met at a place called Cali, and this place is in Colombia. Okay, and in this place, we all have decided to establish a Cali Fund, guys. Okay, a fund will be established where developed countries will give money to developing countries. Okay, and you see in this summit, guys, they used a logo. They used a logo of endemic flower in Colombia. Remember, guys, endemic means present only in that area. Present only in that area, not anywhere else. If anything is present in that area, it is called as endemic. The endemic flower name is Inirida. Yeah, I don't know how you spell. It is known as Inirida. Okay, and this was used as a logo, and it had 36 petals, it seems. It had 36 petals. Out of this 36 petals, 23 petals, 23 petals represent, like, 23 goals, 23 goals under global biodiversity framework, and 13 petals. Yes, this framework is what? Kunming one. 13 represents eco regions of Colombia. That means which are all the beautiful regions, eco regions of Colombia. They had 13 petals. So in total, 36 petals they had kept. So it's very, very important, guys. And the official motto of COP16 was peace with nature. Okay, their official logo was peace, or official motto was having peace with nature. Let's not fight with nature. Let's have peace with nature was the official one. Please write this down. Okay, now guys, you see what this people did at COP16. See guys, there is a seed company. Okay, seed company by name Monsanto. Okay, Monsanto. So this Monsanto will come. It knows that due to climate change, rice is not growing much. Okay, rice is not growing much. Now they will understand that in Rayalaseema region of India, rice is grown at high temperature. Now they will take that seed from Andhra Pradesh, they will take, and they will do sequencing of this. Sequencing, digital sequencing of gene will be done. Okay, and then based on this, what they will do, a new variety of seed they will find. New variety of seed will come. Based on this new variety of seed, they are going to grow crops. See the beauty? They are going to grow crops. Okay. Now, when they grow crops, now this seeds, okay, this seeds will be distributed to the world. Will be distributed to the world. Okay. When this is distributed in the world, this company will earn money, will earn profits. Okay. So guys, please understand. Yes, they have put the effort, but this seed is protected by Indian farmers. So, under this COP16, they will establish a Cali Fund. Okay, and this fund will be kept under Global Environment Facility. Okay, this fund will be kept under Global Environment Facility. And under this facility, the money, profits, 1% of the profits should be transferred to Global Environment Facility. Global Environment Facility will keep the money in Cali Fund. See guys, environment related, any money, if it comes, it will be kept by Global Environment Facility and it will keep the money in World Bank. Okay, and whenever it is required, they will give. Now, 1% of the profits must be given or shared with this facility. And what this facility will do, Global Environment Facility will give that to indigenous people. That means to Andhra Pradesh they will come, and whichever area, villages who were guarding it, who protected the seed for all these years, they will be given some money. And they are telling at least 50% of the money should be given. See, it's very simple. My forefathers were doing agriculture, they protected a seed. Now someone will come, they will use the seed, technology and make money. So mandatorily, they have to give some money to me. How much? 1% they should give it to the fund and the fund will give it to us. Okay, this is what they all have agreed. Fine. And we have targets, guys, that you must be aware, nothing much. See guys, let me show you one interesting. You have something called as coral triangles. Okay, this is called coral triangle. This is Southeast Asia, guys. In Southeast Asia, that is Southeast Asia, Polynesia countries and all. When you look at them, they are called as coral triangle. Remember, corals will have highest biodiversity. See, we have something called as what? Coral triangle, which includes Southeast Asia and also Polynesia. Countries above Australia will be called as Polynesia. They all are form of which one? Coral triangle. And as biodiversity is very high in the region, it is known as Amazon of the sea. Known as Amazon of the sea. Because of what? Biodiversity it has. And there are almost 10 countries here, guys. I'll just read the names of the countries. Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, okay, Solomon Islands, Solomon Islands, Timor Leste. Please see them once. That's it. Okay. Yes. Because recently, you might have actually, yeah, the coral is in danger. Lot of species are being lost. That's the reason they're talking about it. See, next you have a concept called as digital arrest. Digital arrest. This is a new concept, guys. I hope the moment you call anyone nowadays, you're getting that in the call. Please be careful about the fraud people. They will call you and tell that, like, government is involved. Your IT returns are not proper. Fake narratives they create. You might have heard of that. Like, so what has happened, guys? Many places. I'll just give a incident. What happened? Like, one girl had sent a friend request to a guy. And what happened? They both spoke, and after a while, she told, "Can I do video call to you?" And the guy accepted, and they both did video call. And after that, like, she cut the call immediately in between, and she told some emergency, and she started crying. Now, what happened after 5 or 6 hours? You will get the person got a police call, and they told, "Now, did you do video call to anyone?" Yes. To this number, you did. Yes. So that girl has been caught red-handed by her husband for cheating him. So he bet her in that she committed suicide. Now you are responsible for this. The guy has put a case on you. So if you give your address and all, we are going to come and arrest you. And then he asked and took money from her. Okay, from him. Later, they took money from others also. So, like this, they will create a scenario and tell you that some fraud is going on. So, that is called digital arrest, which is, like, a very big issue for us. Okay. So, guys, these are important issues. One last thing is there, that is about nano fertilizers, guys. But government has not yet given what do you call it as permission. So once the permission is given, I will look into it, guys. For me, like, we will be dealing with other current affairs, but in case if you need the material, you can message us, or you can join our Telegram channel, guys. Okay, or download our app, which is of Apex. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thanks for your patience.